Hello, my fellow otakus. You have channeled back into the Part-Time Reviewer. I'm Nick, and today I'm doing a review of the Frame Arms Girls stylet. You may notice that one is blue and one is red. This is the original design, and the red one is the A.I.S color, meant to be a reference to Phantasy Star Online 2. Now, personally, I don't know the game, but I just really like the shade of red on there. So we'll just set the original stylet aside, as they are very much similar in both size, arsenal, and overall things. So let's get to it. So we will start off with the Sculpt, and it's very much similar to the original design with a few differences. Obviously with the color, there are brown, white, and a light blue accents here and there, but mostly it's red and a few bits of brown and little bits of white. I would have liked the white to come out a bit more, however that is helpful through decals and optional runners that you could either have brown sets of wheels and shin guards, or the white. I like white a little bit more, so it helps the red pop a bit. It took me about the same amount of time as it would have taken for me to assemble the original stylet. However, I noticed a few interesting things about it. You may notice that I have painted some of this, as many of you would know that some model kits don't come painted. But the two vents that are at the sides, in fact, I'll get the claw off of her for now. The two vents on her sides and also at her thighs, that rhymes, they're painted both brown and this light blue. Those are the only four pieces that I have found on here that come multi-painted on the runner. I do not mind that because it adds to a sort of detail that you could paint it however you want. On the tips of these wings, you'll notice they're a different shade of blue. I use Temple Guard blue from Citadel Paints. And some of you may have already pointed out or have not noticed, but the white on these panels are a little bit sloppy. I use ceramite white, and I have found out that in the future I'm going to be using white scar to make it a bit easier, since the ceramite white doesn't exactly sit very well, and it's a bit wet, like it doesn't sit very well. And let's move on to the accessories. Starting off with her weapon arsenal, it's very similar to the original stylet. 2 missiles, a Gatling gun, which I'm not very much of a fan of since it's a very dull color, much like the original stylet, and I like to keep it a bit diverse, so I just simply cut that out. Moving on, with the same arsenal as the stylet, you have 2 traditional katanas. And you may notice that one handle is missing because I used the longer one and painted it a lead belcher to give it a good shine. You have the options of either having the 2, the long and short one, or you can have them both sheathed in the back. And much like the other one, they come with their own sort of make-it-yourself stand. However, this is not as versatile as some of the ones you could assemble yourself that you could get off of Amazon or other sites. And with the options given in the model kit, you have the options of fists, relaxed hands, open hands, gripping hands, and half grip and pointing hands. You can put them in various sort of poses, which we will be moving on to next. Starting off at the head, it's a very tight sort of ball joint, and she's very much restricted by the ponytails and the jetpack, which is also an accessory I forgot to mention. Her arms are a little bit restricted by these panels as well. However, when you move them, she has a very flexible moving arm. Elbow joint is a little tight, but that could be fixed by either filing or some sort of lubricant. And the optional hands pop out and in with a little ball, and you have full 360 movement and some side-to-side action. Let me get this cloth. Movement at the waist, you could arc back decently far, but you wouldn't want to, and not very much of a crunch. Her skirt is, you can fold out with separate pieces. Her skirt comes in a few pieces that you can fold out to help with the leg movements. It's a bit of a double jointed knee. However, you don't really need to, with obviously her knee pad to bend with it so you don't see the insides, which leads me to believe that they are amputees in the sense that there's no flesh-like skin within. It would have been more trouble and would have been a lot more asking for this kind of model kit. All the panels and wings just have a single peg which they can swivel on. The ankle movement is not too bad. It's realistic. You can do a bit of a pivot with just a toe, and you obviously have the wheels, which you don't need. And very much like you degenerates, her skirt does go down just enough to where you can see the panties, in which case I also have to point out Kotobukiya. There's a bit of an issue with your panties, even though I really don't like bringing this up. They seem to be a bit bigger than the model kit piece itself. I know I could either cut it up myself or wrap it around the edges, but I really shouldn't have to worry about that with water slide decals. In which case, that is the next bit of subject. I carefully placed the decals myself and did a bit of painting next to them. I like the look of them, although some of them may look like they are separate by a small gap. They are in fact one piece where you see them, especially on the jetpack and on the legs, the panels. You may notice that some of you who have assembled this yourself, that I am missing some. Unfortunately, they were thin and not very easy to maneuver, so they ended up breaking, and I don't want broken decals on. I just try my best. Overall, this is a decent but a bit of a difficult thing, so I'm going to point out the cons. This top fin, I had to just glue in because it pops off like crazy, and even the original one had some issues with that, so you just glue that in. Other than that, it's pretty solid for its frame. Frame Arms Girls. And I like the look of it. I like the red, and it makes me think of 02 with the pink hair and bluish eyes. However, there is no red eyeliner underneath, which is meh. Also, with her accessories, she comes with various faces, and none of them are really good unless you have a bit of that paint in the mouth, because the rest, they just hide the mouth, a lot like the Gore Eye. And for those of you who are familiar with Joby the Hong, he did point out of how lifeless the face is. And there is also this small chin guard thing that doesn't exactly fit in well with the headpiece that goes over her cheeks. I wish that could be an issue that could be fixed. But then again, these don't seem like the kits that would have a lot of high quality to them. However, wherever there is quality, it does come out very well, especially with seasoned and veteran model kit builders. So I would rate the stylet A.I.S color a 3 out of 5. And the reason why I give it that is because there's a little bit more intricacy to it. Some of the pieces are not as easy as the Gore Eye. And the deeper I go into the Framed Arms Girls series, I believe they will become more intricate, which I like. It does add a bit of a difficulty, but that shows much of a challenge, and it shows how intricate other model kits can be to builders. So now that I'm done with this review, I hope that you find it fair, and if there are any others out there, please check them out and show that your support to them, or as much as I would normally recommend is Jobby the Hong. This has been a review of the A.I.S color stylet. My name is Nick, tuning out.